on today, fam? We are back again today, and we are working on the Vet. And as you know, I'm always working on the Vet, but today I'm excited because we are going to be installing these AMT Motorsport engine mounts. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about these engine mounts. So first thing, these are 3/8 inch shorter than stock, and the reason why I went with the ones that were shorter than stock, because in order to run a bigger intake manifold like the Fast 102, you have to drop the engine a little bit for hood clearance. But these things are super dope. So I want to thank Mark at AMT Motorsport for giving me a discount on this kit, and so I could try it out in my Vet. So thanks again, Mark. But back to these beautiful things. So this is the engine mount here, and I'm gonna tell you why I think these are the best engine mounts on the market. So if you look at the design of these, a lot of engine mounts are just like a solid piece of like poly bushing, and then it has like the bolt holes coming out of it and that you put nuts on, but those are prone to break. But these are a multi-piece design, but it's really dope. So the way these go together is you have these vulcanized rubber, which is super durable. It goes in each of these aluminum cups like so, and they are completely covered by these aluminum cups. And in order to further protect these and allow them to flex, you have this machined piece of aluminum right here that goes in the middle like so, and then they sandwich together like this. So with this like this, it allows the engine mounts to move a bit, but also protects the rubber inside of those engine mounts. And these actually come with a lifetime warranty. Mark guarantees these for the life of the vehicle. So these are super duper dope. They're a very quality piece of equipment. So, and that lifetime warranty just makes it all the better. If they fail, he guarantees he will replace them. So this is dope. So and the hardware is all grade 10 hardware, and it has these locking nuts. That's a really dope design. So and the reason why it has these is so you don't have to use a super high torque spec on these, and so you can still allow the engine mounts to move around and do their job, so they're not compressed when they are actually installed. So we're going to get into it, man. So we are going to get into it. So I'm going to show you guys first where your engine mounts are located. So if you look up here, right here, and I did not bring my flashlight, silly me, where these little silver thermal covers are is where your engine mounts mount. And the bottom nut is right here in your subframe, and the whole actual mount that goes onto your engine is this nice aluminum piece right there. So that's what we have to disassemble in order to install these new mounts. So the way that we're going to do that is we are going to lower the whole subframe. Well, first we're going to loosen these up, then we're going to lower the whole subframe down to allow us more space. So I think that's going to be the best method. So the way that we're going to do that is your subframe is held in place by these 4 mounting bolts. One here, one here, one here, and one here. So we are going to lower that. But before we actually go to lower that, it's a couple things we have to do. One of them is we have to remove our upper A-arms, because obviously this is going to limit how far the subframe can drop. The next thing we're going to have to remove is the mounting bolts for our shocks here. As you can see, it's just 2 bolts right here. We can leave the top one in, but I probably will just go ahead and remove these whole things, because I am actually going to be doing a coilover swap tomorrow, hopefully, if everything goes smooth. So I might just remove those completely. But yeah, so let's get into it. First things first, I'm gonna go ahead and remove these. So let's get into it. Okay, so keep in mind, so these team mill right here, but your front ones are probably going to have shims for your caster. Your rears won't. So just remember where those go, like where those shims fell out from. But like what I'm going to do is, as soon as I take the control arm and get it loose, I am just going to put my bolts back in, so that way I know exactly where they were. So yep, just a quick tip. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, is remove our 2 nut and bolts that's holding on the bottom of the shock on here. So it's going to take a 13 mil, put it on the nut. Then if you come underneath here with a 13 and an extension, and then you'll be able to get to the bolt head. So I'm just going to go ahead and loosen those up now. So obviously, and when you take this off, you may get a little bit of downward movement, so just make sure and that you're not putting tension on your brake lines. So I decided to go ahead and remove my brake calipers just so I can secure them somewhere out of the way. I felt like at some point that the upper control arm could slip and this could like fall or something like that, and I just don't want to put that tension on my brake line. So it's just a 21 mil. These 2 bigger bolts right there, they're pretty high torque. I forget the spec, but you should still be able to get them off. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove these. Then I will remove our lower engine mount nuts right there. Then we can start to lower the subframe a little bit, and we can jack up the engine a little bit by the oil pan, and we should have access and possibly be able to get these engine mounts out. So let's do it. Okay, so I got the brake assembly off. Cool. I need to take off that rotor too. There's just no point in having it just sitting there. But next thing I'm gonna do is remove my engine mount nuts. So there's one here. As you can see, I've already loosened that one up. There's 17 mils, both of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and loosen up those. Then I'm gonna start loosening up these 4 front subframe bolts. They're 21 mils. So we'll go ahead and start to lower our subframe bit by bit. One thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna put a jack underneath our oil pan to hold the engine in place while we lower the subframe. So let's get into it. So I have a transmission jack right here with a piece of wood so it doesn't damage the aluminum oil pan, and I'm going to just jack up the engine just a little bit. And you can see it move. One thing when you're doing this though, you got to be careful because you know the engine is hooked up. There's all type of wire harnesses and things going to it, so you can only move the engine but so much. So just keep that in mind. I want to get most of my distance from lowering the subframe the way that I'm going to be doing it. So now I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna start to loosen these. I'm not removing all of these. So like pretty much right, I'm just loosening these up. They're still gonna be threaded on there. I don't want this whole subframe to drop on the ground. That's not what we're trying to accomplish here. So they're still gonna be threaded, but I'm just gonna loosen them up slowly all the way around so it just lowers the whole subframe. So that bottom nut is out of the engine mount. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work to get the 3 13 millimeter, 13 mil actual engine mount bracket bolts out. So those are up there. 1, 2, 3 is on the other side. It might be a little difficult to get to, just because one of them is buried pretty deep in there. I know you guys aren't gonna be able to see, but it's kind of difficult to get to. But I think with a wrench and some patience, we might be able to get it done. So I'm gonna work on getting that done right now. Okay, obviously when we last left, all this was not torn apart. So I'm gonna explain why my leaf spring is currently on the ground. So a few things I wanna point out with this install, y'all. I have aftermarket headers, so they give me a bit more room because they're a bit outside like that. I don't know if you have the stock exhaust manifolds, if it would still work like this. Number 2, I would highly advise trying to loosen up those 13 mils before you drop the subframe. Now, the reason why I took this out, undid the A-arm obviously, and all that stuff is because of this bolt right here. And I hope you guys can see that. And if you can't, I'm sorry. There's a bolt right here. And the problem was not getting the bolt off, but, well, actually that was a bit of a problem, but I realized I wouldn't be able to torque that bolt once I was going in to put back on the engine mount. So, being the fact that I plan on installing my coilovers tomorrow, it's not really a big deal to take off the leaf spring because I had intended to do so already. So, it's just less work I gotta do tomorrow. So, now that we got that out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and continue. I've just been using a 13 mil socket. That's been working pretty good so far. Also, I have a 3/8 drive with a 13 mil socket extension and a swivel joint. Also been using that. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue to get this driver's side mount off, then we'll move on to the passenger side. So finally finagled the passenger one out. I end up leaving the bracket in just because I was having issues like finding the right angle, but taking out the front leaf spring was huge because it allowed me enough room to be able to pull it through this hole right here. And by it, I mean the engine mount itself, which is right here. So stock engine mount versus the AMT Motorsports mount. But I can tell you right now, the AMT one is a lot lighter. This is like significantly heavier. Like this might be like 2 pounds heavier. So you get a bit of weight savings there. Also more streamlined. You know, this looks a lot better and it'll give you more room to work also, which is always a good thing. So got that one out. That was pretty simple. Now we are gonna move on to this one right here. Same thing, except we have the AC compressor kind of in the way of our bolt down here, but I think with a with a wrench, I'll be able to get it loose. So I don't predict that being an issue. So pretty much all I'm gonna do now is just go ahead and take out these 3 13 mil bolts. Then I'm gonna try to finagle my way. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention was like once I got the 13 mil bolts loose on the bracket, I was able to position it over here and I was able to rotate it to where I could get a socket onto the nut and remove the engine mount from the bracket while it's still being in the car. I think that was probably the easiest way, honestly. But yeah, I'm gonna get started on that side and I'll let you guys know what I find. Okay, got y'all a little bit of light. So if you see those 2 bolts in there with the green heads, it's a little bit difficult to see. It's like, it's past the AC condenser, but if you come here, like to the passenger side with your 3/8 drive and extension, you are able to get to this bolt right here. If you come to the side, you're able to get to that bolt right here. And you can also probably access the lower bolt. Yeah, you can access the lower bolt too if you put a swivel head at the end. So that's what I'm gonna do. So this side is significantly easier to get the bolts out of. So let me go ahead and finish knocking that out. Okay, so I got those 3 13 mil bolts out. I was able to rotate the bracket this way, exposing the nut right there. So at the very least, I should be able to get a socket on there to take out this nut to separate it from the engine mount. And then I can try to finagle the old mount out. The issue is on this side, you got the AC condenser and that just F's up all the room. Because obviously if that wasn't there, I could just pull it right through there. But don't want to have to mess with that. So I'm definitely going to just go ahead, loosen this up, get that nut off and separate it from the mount, then finagle the actual engine mount out. Leave the bracket in, cause with these headers, I just don't see how they gonna come out. But yeah, we gonna figure it out. Yeah. It was a struggle getting this out. I actually had to phone a friend for a little bit of help. So it was easy to get the 3 13 mil bolts out, but then I was having issues getting the actual engine mount out itself. So what I ended up having to do was drop this whole side of the cradle. And as you can see, the cradle is like tilted down that way. I got this other mount right here, holding that up a little bit, and you can see it's almost out. And so those studs are almost out of the hole all the way. It actually is out of the hole all the way up on this one. So, man, that was definitely a doozy, but finally was able to get the mounts out. Got the passenger side right here, driver's side right here. So that's dope. Got those out. Now it's time to get the new engine mounts installed. So we're gonna start with the passenger side first, and then we'll move to the driver's side. Okay, so according to AMT's instructions, what they want you to do is they want you to put in the lower left and the lower right bolt first, but leave this one loose until you actually get the new engine mount installed and tightened. And then once you tighten it up, then they want you to put in the top bolt. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall this bracket and get this all tightened up first, and then I'll go and torque these down. So let's get it. All right, so got it in right there. That went smooth as hell. I got the new mount. You can kind of see, let me see if I get the camera in there. So you kind of see the new mount right there also. So what I'm gonna go through now is go ahead and torque these down. So the actual mounting bracket is 37 foot-pounds for all three of those. So I'm gonna torque those down. And then I'll go ahead and raise up the cradle, and then I will torque down the actual engine mount itself. But man, I'm happy. This wasn't too bad. I mean, I had to take off a lot of stuff, as you guys can see. I mean, it definitely was a labor-intensive job, but we're making it work. Honestly, I don't know how you could do this without dropping your subframe. Like, after getting this far and getting to the passenger mount, if you didn't have AC, maybe you could get away with it, but I feel for sure you have to drop your subframe. But I'm gonna go ahead and torque these down and get everything tightened up. So this is the driver's side right here. So just to go over it right quick, and what you need to do. So the way I found it easiest was to go ahead and put the supplied bolt inside with the washer like this, and then go ahead and put this whole assembly inside the car. So that way this is already in there and you don't have to worry about this bolt that goes on top getting in the way of it when you go to put it in, because as you can see, it makes contact right there. So trying to get it in there could be problematic, but it's already in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in the car. I'm gonna put in the 3 mounting bolts inside, and then we can go ahead and tighten everything up. So same thing on the passenger side. If you come through right here, you are able to reach to the 1 mounting bolt. And then if you come right here, you're able to see the other one right there. So just gonna go ahead and torque these down right quick, and then we can lower the, we can raise the subframe back up and lower the engine onto the actual, into the actual cradle. And then we're gonna go ahead and torque those down. All right, y'all, so we gonna go ahead and torque our subframe bolts. The torque spec is 81 foot-pounds, so gonna go ahead and torque these bad boys up. Make sure you do it in a star pattern, obviously. So I'm gonna go with that one, tighten them on up. And once this is all tightened up, and then we'll go ahead and torque our actual engine mounts down and get these things secured in place, and we're gonna be good to go. Y'all, so I got everything all tightened up. I'm gonna give her a couple revs and see if we can see a difference. So I'm gonna have to insert the clip and before I install the engine mount. I don't want to rev it too much while I'm in here, but bro, the engine's not even moving anymore. That thing is solid as hell. And then also, it's lowered the engine and the entire drivetrain at 3/8 of an inch. So that means a lower center of gravity. That means better handling. I also lost some weight because we replaced the heavy OEM engine mounts with lighter engine mounts made of aluminum. So I can't wait to see how it feels on the road. So only things next to do is go check it out on a road review, and let you know how exactly the setup feels. But so far, it feels pretty good. I appreciate y'all checking out the video thus far. Please do like and subscribe. Don't forget that. Help me out there. Definitely hit that like button, all that good stuff. Y'all know how it goes. But next time I see y'all, I'll be doing my after review after driving up on the road and letting you guys know what I think. But until then, take it easy. I'm out. And so we're back just a few days later. I've had some chance to test the AMT motor mounts on the road, and I also tested it at the track. I went to Nürburgring this last Friday. My first time at the track. So I'm gonna give you my impression. So immediately, the first time I drove the car, I noticed more vibration through the cabin. It wasn't like teeth-shattering vibration or anything, but it's a notable vibration, you know, like you can feel that the car actually shakes a little bit more, which makes sense. You know, the motor, the engine is more solidly mounted to the chassis. Next thing I noticed when driving it sparingly, the power delivery seems so much smoother and less drama. I noticed I could give it gas sooner or leaving out of corners. It seemed like it just put the power down way better. Even when I was just doing like quicker straight line pulls, there was so much less drama. And this was unique to me, but I had a vibration during high RPMs, and it was an audible vibration, like something was rubbing. When I installed these mounts, I no longer had that issue, so it cured that like I thought it would. So that was really dope. One thing I noticed also, I have a cam, and you guys that have cams and street drive your cars, you know, and that you can experience a thing called cam surge. And cam surge is basically, it can cause like your car to buck a little bit like that. It's like when you're like kind of like lugging the cam at these low RPMs. So if I'm just chilling, cruising at like 1,000 RPMs, you know, and before I had these motor mounts, my car would be bucking. It would be kind of like that. But now the motor mounts and now the engine's more solidly mounted, it no longer has that issue. But love this mod. Definitely do your engine mounts. If yours go bad, I would definitely recommend an upgrade. If you have a car you drive hard, if you have a car you drive sparingly, if you go to the track, engine mounts and the transmission mount also made a huge difference in just how the car puts the power down and delivers it. So that's my little review. That's my follow-up. Big thanks to AMT Motorsports. I'll be make sure to link in the description where you can buy these mounts yourself. And shout out to Mark, man. So, yep, take it easy. I'm out.